Welcome to my new YouTube channel studio setup. Very professional, I think you will agree. Mr. Jeffrey Bezos himself helped me out with these three lovely letters behind me. Top guy. This winter is looking pretty sweet. Been back out quite a few times already. Looking pretty good. This is the new setup. This is where I'll be doing gear reviews, that sort of thing, recommendations. Obviously most of my videos take place out in the field, up snowy mountains or up summery cliffs and crags, or in forests, blah blah blah. This is where I will be doing gear reviews, recommendations, general discussions of outdoor topics, that sort of thing. So the topic I would like to discuss today is winter mountaineering boots. I've sort of touched on this topic before on my channel when I was just discussing general mountaineering, getting into general winter climbing in Scotland and the sort of boots you'll need: B1, B3, B2, blah blah blah. But today's video is my recommendation for the greatest winter mountaineering boot ever made. Now, one caveat, this boot is not cheap. It is at the top end of most people's budget. To be honest, it's beyond most people's budget. I was lucky enough to actually win a pair of these on a competition on UKC. So it's always worth entering these random competitions that pop up, because sometimes you win. At the time they were brand new, just out, £500, way above my budget. There was no way I was going to spend £500 on a pair of boots, even though I wanted them. And then I won them. And to be honest, I'm into my third winter of using them now. And I just think they are, without doubt, the greatest winter mountaineering boot ever made. And if money is no object, or you don't mind splashing the old credit card or winky winky wink debt, get into debt, folks. It keeps the economy going. So, if you don't mind spending £300 or £400 on a pair of winter mountaineering boots that will hopefully last you quite a few years and will perform amazingly well, then these are the boots for you. As you can see, rather nifty. This little guy over here too. They are the Scarpa Phantom Tech. New model, not the old model. I had the old model. They were horribly uncomfortable to walk in, amazing to climb in, super technical, super precise, super lightweight, but my god, I never ended a day wearing them without crippled toes. Even short days up to the Northern Corries, you'd be walking back to the car, your toes would be aching, your feet would be sore. They were just very uncomfortable. These, however, Scarpa have really learned their lesson. They have basically made a super technical boot that you can climb up to grade 12 if you want. I've seen Greg Boswell wearing them on grade 10, 11, 12 terrain. I presume he's sponsored by them. So you can climb super hard, you know, they're stiff enough to climb pretty hard. Once you strap a good strong stiff pair of precise C3 crampons onto these, your whole boot setup's going to be pretty good. Get the laces all nice and tight. You can climb up to grade 8, 9, 10, even 11 and 12, although you're probably not going to climb that, let's face it. I think the most I've had them out on was grade 4. Yeah, I think it was grade 4. I've only ever done one grade 5 in my life, and I was wearing the old versions of these, which were great, but I'm keen to push them to their limit, or my limit more likely, and see where they get. The first thing to note about these boots is they are incredibly lightweight. A size 42 pair listed on most websites comes in at about 800, no less than that, about 750 grams per boot. So these ones are a size 10.5 UK size or a size 45 European size, and on my wee scales here they come in at 900 grams per boot. That is 900 grams per boot. I mean, my summer walking boots weigh about this much, and they're just a pair of bog standard summer walking boots. The fact that Scarpa have managed to get this level of technology, this level of technical precision for climbing, and this level of lightweightness and comfort is just an engineering miracle for our age, folks. We've talked about the lightweightness. The next thing to talk about is the comfort. They are so comfortable. You can walk all day in these. In fact, I just walked for 3 days in these. My last video posted, I was wearing these as I trekked 50 kilometers through the Cairngorms. There was a wee bit of snow here and there. Well, a wee bit of snow. There was a lot of snow here and there, but we weren't actually winter mountaineering because we were staying low in the glens. So there were times we were knee deep in snow, etc, etc. But on the whole, it was just a wild wintry trek for 3 days in these. Not once did I have sore feet. There wasn't a single time I had a blister. There wasn't a single time I was walking along, cursing every step because my feet were throbbing. So you can go multi-day trekking in a pair of B3 boots, and that is quite an impressive feat. I think that's probably the most impressive thing about them, is just how comfortable they are to wear in general mountaineering situations. So, what I've done to prove just how great an all-round mountaineering boot these are, as well as a super hard climbing boot, was take a wet trudge up a mountain in the Trossachs, just to prove it. Obviously, there are cheaper boots out there. I am in no way endorsing rushing out, getting into debt to buy these boots. But if you want to splash the cash on a pair of boots that will last you years, will cover every single eventuality you will ever face in the winter in Scotland, even in the Alps. These aren't designed for high-level mountaineering, so I wouldn't be going up into the, the big ranges in them. But a bit of winter mountaineering in the Alps, that sort of thing, in the summer when the temps aren't too low, absolutely amazing and super comfortable. So, the first thing to note of them is they have the built-in gaiter. This is great. It's stitched to the boot, means the boot is super waterproof. It also allows the boot to be nice and lightweight. It also means, generally speaking, you don't have to wear gaiters, so you save yourself money on gaiters. Although in Scotland you still plunge your leg into deep bogs and a little bit of moisture gets up over the top there. I have had damp feet in them once or twice when I've been on sort of prolonged, boggy, wet, trudgy terrain. Obviously in snow it's not really a problem. So they have the built-in gaiter, that's great, keeps your feet completely waterproof. You can, in theory, dunk your feet right up to here in a river and they will stay waterproof. I did actually put that to the test on my recent 3-day trek through the Cairngorms. I dumped my feet in many rivers, and to be honest, I did end up with slightly damp feet at the end of one day because we were in rivers, bogs, slush, snow. It was relentless. It was like 9 hours of trudging, and eventually one of them wet out slightly. However, the other good thing about them is they dry amazingly quickly. Fully synthetic, pop them in a bothy, anywhere near warmth at all. To be honest, the first night we didn't even have warmth. We were in a freezing cold bothy, no fire, temperatures never really got above freezing. I basically just took the insoles out, aired them out, put a couple of tissues in there. In the morning they were basically dry again. So fully synthetic, they dry very quickly. The other thing Scarpa have improved upon massively on the old model is the sole. This, on the old model, was soft, it wore away. You barely got a season's use out of them, especially in Scotland where you're trudging on rock and stone half the time rather than snow. The sole wore away. This one, however, is great. It's big, it's chunky, it's robust. Going into my 3rd winter now, still in great condition. I will get them resoled in a few years when the time comes. Try and keep these puppies lasting as long as possible. There's a few crampon scratches and things already, so it is worth taking care of the boot, keeping an eye on where you're stabbing your crampons. So yeah, I would say the main selling point of these boots is just how comfortable they are, and that's partly due to how lightweight they are. You can walk for hours, you barely notice them on your feet. Pair them with a pair of lightweight crampons like the Grivel Air Techs or something, you've got a super lightweight setup for mountaineering all day long. So these are lightweight, incredibly waterproof, very technical, and very comfortable for walking in. I'd say the main selling point for me is just how comfortable they are for walking in. I've had too many days in Scotland with just horribly sore feet at the end of a long day in the mountains. These, I have never had an uncomfortable or sore day. There's a tiny little bit of bend in the sole, which you think might compromise their climbing ability, but I don't think it does. You can climb super hard in these. That's enough just to give it a nice sort of roll to the rocker. You know, when you're walking along, you don't feel like you're walking with planks of wood on your feet. You feel like you've actually got a boot on that flexes and bends with your foot. Makes a huge difference for those long winter days when you're just trudging to the climb and trudging back again. So yeah, for my money, there is not a better winter mountaineering boot on the market right now. Ever made, potentially. I genuinely think these could be the best winter mountaineering boots ever made. They're just lightweight, comfortable, technical, waterproof, and they look pretty sexy too, let's face it. Scarpa have done a great job with the styling. And that's what it's all about, folks, style. So anyway, that is my recommendation for the best winter mountaineering boots money can buy. My next review is going to be on my winter sleeping bag setup, because I haven't spent much money. I'd say I've spent just over £100 in total on my sleeping bags, and to be honest, I'm comfortable going down to about -20 in them. And it weighs about 1.8 kilograms and packs down small enough to get in the bottom of your rucksack. So that is the next video I will be doing, is my sleeping bag setup. I think it's the best setup, a 2-bag solution, but we will see just how good it is in my review. I'm hoping to go out into the field and test it at like -20, but finding -20 conditions in Scotland is actually quite hard sometimes. But I'll basically go out on the coldest night I can possibly find in the depths of winter, up in the Cairngorm somewhere, and I'll test out my 2-bag solution. But that's next time. So until next time, feel free to like and subscribe. I mean, who doesn't want more of these letters in their life, eh?